So I've been getting a lot of your messages, and I see every one of them. But something that's a bit of a concern for me in light of everything that I'm sharing here. So I've been getting Gogo, your story is similar to mine, or Gogo, etc. Doesn't mean I also have to go Tasa, etc. We are always gonna walk our journeys differently. I'm just sharing my story with you. So there might be certain similarities that you pick up with you, but you cannot experience your journey through my story. You need to walk indlela yakho, uyihambe indlela yakho the way ingakhona. That is why we lose patience namadlozi wethu, or sometimes feel as though our ancestors are not saying anything to us. It's because we don't want to walk our journey. I am sharing my story so that you can learn from my mistakes and actually accept who you are, because the first part to making things easier is accepting who you are spiritually, and then your journey will unfold the way it is. Trust me, there is no manual to the spiritual life. You walk your journey differently. We might meet ephehlweni sonke sizothwasa sizoyenza ubungoma, but when you start to listen to the stories people tell you about how they ended up where they are, you might find ukuthi abanye abantu bahamba amaphehla ayi-5, abanye abantu kwathiwa, they have X gift, YZ, but at the end they ended up where they ended up. So our reasons and stories vary. So please don't experience your journey through my story. Walk your journey, Mtane Dlozi, so that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor, so that you can build a bond with Idlozi Lako, so that you can appreciate your gift even more. So, welcome to chapter 7. And we are definitely moving. And thank you so much for always coming through here. Exhausted as I am, we need to keep it moving. So, let's get into it. I am Pobadimu, the advocate of Idlozi, and once again I welcome you to the channel, and thank you so much for choosing to view this video. Well, this is part 7 of my story, my spiritual journey. We have definitely come a long way. I'm still shocked at how far we've come, and thank you so much once again for the feedback. If you're new to the channel, I'd honestly suggest you subscribe. Hit on the pause button and quickly subscribe. And also, if you're returning here, welcome back and thank you for being part of the family. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to the family. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to also leave your comments down below, and also do not forget to watch the ads. So part 7, here we are. Well, one thing I can confirm, or rather say, or rather, attest to, is that when we twasa, you get treated unfairly to a certain extent, and sometimes it is not fair, and sometimes if you're not inquisitive, and sometimes maybe if you're not aware of what should happen and what shouldn't, you end up being at the wrong side, of the line. And in terms of our spiritual home, or where we grew up, impande ziyahluka, but one thing I've picked up from a lot of izangoma is that we've normalized this abuse that carries on emaphehlweni, and it is very painful. It is appalling. And not only do we focus on the physical aspect, but there's also the mental, the emotional, the verbal, the physical, the sexual. And we don't talk about it because we are taught to say what happens ephehlweni stays ephehlweni. So taking you to my first Sunday, which Sunday iyahlonisha in my books, but ngihlonipha in a way where I spend my Sundays cooking and listening to music. So it was the very first Sunday waking up in a different home. The night was a bit rough because of Ishi Amagundwane. I'm not a fan of Amagundwane, so waking up in the morning, we were woken up normal hours, no 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. because I was told on Sundays and where we sleep it is church. It is a church, so that's where kusontela khona. Like I said, ama vibes lapha vibes. So I was woken up by iredo kakobela wami, we was playing Amazayoni, and here I am, this coming from a Christian background. I'm now here, and so Kalama Zayoni, and I've never been to Isonto Lama Zayoni, so we were told to dress up and sitwale makanda so that we can make our way to the church. So we dressed up, prepared ourselves, and because it was still first days for me, I was still a freshman, so I was not really doing much, but in terms of cooking and everything else, Abanyabo Gogo were handling that department, but I had to help here and there in terms of cleaning, in terms of uksigi kabishi, because ikabishi mositwaseni, that is your only luxury that you have. So we go to church. I'm here thinking to myself, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Are they going to say it? But no, it was just normal church. I was just falling asleep because I was bored, thinking to myself, maybe it's I want a sounds and stuff like that. I was just, thinking about those things, going outside, and I'm thinking to myself that and then Monday came. Masiolala on Sunday, then Unyangwabi, which means that she is like our teacher, basically. She's like our tour guide. Well, she was the daughter she sat down and she was like, no, let me lay down the rules for you guys. So this is the time that you wake up, and this is the time that you need to be ready. And she was just laying down the rules in terms of food. Because it was nice. I was thinking to myself, oh, so we're still eating our normal food, And she's like, nope, you're not gonna be eating this anymore. You stick to it diet. But Ubabe knows was on jailer because he needs to tell you everything. So first time he comes in after all this madness of the weekend, and he's like, he needs to sit down with all of us and speak to us, and in particular me, because I'm the new person. So she was like, and they were like, what business lapayana. So he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry with the noise in the background. It is raining cats and mpepo, but I'll try to push as much as I can today. So he's like, and then so he tells me that you go to bed after sending the yokinto line cleaning, meaning niwashizita na cleaner izinto kitchen and no wearing of shoes. You can only walk like egcekeni ngamakaos, but ilanga lingaphumi usafaka amakaos. I-heater ayiwater, because if we water heater, izoba soft and zizodabuka. You must learn to walk barefoot, so that your feet zizokwazi ukuthi ziqine, And I was also told that no more eating of dairy products, no more eating of meat. The only thing I should eat is kabishi, and ngaleso skati, if he's in a good mood, maybe it's chicken, but if he's in a good mood, you feel me? And he told me of the requirements, like in terms of stationery things, what I needed there from me. He asked me, do I have everything? And I was told to unpack my bag so that he can check what I have. And it was like, no, unamapai that are missing, you must tell your aunt to get you laumapai lao. And what else was I told? Oh yes, I was told that askezeli langa phakathi, but because it's still early days, I can. And he told me that I'm gonna confiscate your phone, because you're not allowed to be having your phone as itwasa. You cannot use an alarm to wake you up. uyithwasa unamadlozi umntwana bogogo, and lesikhathi ungakangeni la ubuvuswa idlozi, so that should apply. Same thing umusulana. So angisho niyazi amathwasa wamanje we-oven bake bavusa ngama-alarm, but you know, you that resilience gets to teach you ukuthi you need to really rely and depend on idlozi lakho. I was also told about, I was asked, so, I said, I used a spoon, and it's like, nope, that's not how you eat as itwasa. Abagogo need to show you because you need to, Abagogo will show you basically, you know. And because I was not observant, you know. So then my first week began. In the morning, we woke up. It was around around that area. So we woke up, but by 2 I was up because you know, you can't sleep. Unyangabi had her phone with us, but she couldn't say, guys, wake up. It's not her duty, you know. Not all she can do is just like, but you guys are slipping up, you know. So we wake up around that time again, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's gonna happen? So Umsezana and Loretta Begasebenza, so she had a 5 o'clock bus to catch. So we would just do everything, you know, routinely based, but knowing that Omunuya Hamba, so Emini Besalasi too, but on weekends base Pelela Sibi Batatu. So we wake up and we bath. Sihambe sikamanzi ngaphandle and sibeka amanzi, and I'm thinking I could get used to this, you know, but ugogo lo munye umsesana was like, no, cause of like masiyokha amanzi, we can wear amachapachapa words, but she was like, don't make noise, like bangakuzwa ukuthi uyahamba because uzongena enkingeni, you know. I was like, for amachapachapa, and she's like, so much jikela ngalimva kwendlu, these humongous rats, you know, are there by the, you know, the fence, and I'm like, how am I gonna survive this? So she's like, no, Zokela, it's fine, you know. And so I tell her that I'm on my period, so is there anything wrong? And she's like, yeah, good wrong. Mose skati na uye ndumbeni. Baba gavum guti singene ndumbeni, you know. But I was thinking to myself, so no ngene zongene ndumbeni ngishenga phandle mina. And what's gonna happen? So it's not, I'll check myself, you know, because beba ngaboni nix, and I was using a tampon. So she's like, Uzolande Latina, everything we are doing, you also do that. So I'm like, okay, eagerly waiting. And she's like, Begana my threats again, umsezane, abanyaza mvale nasebuseni. So we hanje again, we were 18. That time it was around 3. I figured 18. Tio! You know, and I'm like, okay, I'm always used to having these episodes, no boyfriend at the time, so I've never ilusi. And oh, sorry. So before we do that, we go and do babies like the makandlela. So before we went there, I actually told her that no, I'm off my periods because I don't want to be left out, you know. So I will go into the Ndumba and she lights the candles and we are supposed to patla and speak to our dozis, and then after lapo, siakwaza again. So go to the gate. Yeah! So I'm like, yo! I'm watching them, what they're doing. Ugo Loretta, unfortunately for her, Ugo Loretta, Mina, they told me good it was the Elis Mumu because it was like it would take time to come and no manga kwazaganjani, you know, no wakita. You know, it was just having a struggle of her life, you know. Shout out to God Loretta. I don't know good to go. And she was Loretta because it was pumili kipigama. So that's why Bebati it was like a mumu. So I'm following Umsezana. She was very short, but she kind of looked weird, like not Tigoloshi vibes, because she was like running very quick. So I'm after her. It was not that much of a big yard. So we go there. So you go to the main areas of the home and namaganzelo langaphandle, but after that she told me I was just showing you observing protocol, but normally you come here emaganzeleni and then we have vusela amaganzela phambi komkhukhu kagobela wami. So we go there emnyango wakhe, boy. I'm like, my throat, ladies, my throat. I can't do this. Yeah. And umama ga Gobela wam, she's there by the window because I need to the it was a small narrow passage. It wasn't a big yard, you know. And then Ugobela aphendule. Thokozani bogogo, and she's like, yeah, cool. What was the camera? Made up so sana. As bongelel. And then Loretta does the same, but she forgets. And you show this rhyming thing you need to do. It's like, you know, the lyrics of the Petlo. You need to do the rhyme because I told you, Guti, it's like Matrix vibes. We have our own codes of speaking. So Guzi Tenya, I'm like, I was listening to them. I was like, but then like say, like lo uyangicheba. But meanwhile I'm thinking to myself, okay girl, you are just screaming like a freak right now. She's like, khuluma nkomo, khuluma. I'm like, thokoza baba, ibunkomo iyahlaba. And she's like, thokozani zingane zami, ngiyabonga ukuthi namhlanje nifikile navusela no ngiyabonga ukubona ukuthi amadlozi asesekhona. That time ubrothers uvele kangaka engubeni thina siyakontrola la ngaphandle. So masicede ukuvusela, then we go observe protocols, buyele endumbeni and watch the others act crazy. Yabo umsezane ke yena makahlehla idlozi, she would be like Superman, and she's like so I was standing there in the corner like, oh, what is happening? So in Dubai it's being on that globe, it was just being like the my country. Oh my gosh. So and then after Lapo, she's like, bahlele. So we didn't know what they were doing. So long busy. Yeah. You know, just to, you know, keep the vibe going, you know. And Masket Lapo, Papa Tozan Bokoko, and then she's like, manje nkomo. She's like the senior, you know, of all of us. So she's like, no, manje siyahamba sendlini, phuza sipheka umdoko, sikline. Oh, and she was like to me, no, ngine ngizowasha, kumele ngiwashe newashini line. So I'm like, no stress, no kudos. Around, I think at that time it was around 4 going on 5, you know. And so one thing about me is I don't like to be cooked for, especially endaweni la ngaboni clean or neat corner. I'm very picky when it comes to eating people's food. But if ngibona umuntu ukuthi kuclean, like angimind. So laphayana la ngisasekhona wawuthi uhlele ekitchen kunaneli vululela phambi kwakho and lawo mancane. So in my mind I'll be like, what if he's, you know, lamakundwane lawo are DJing emabhodweni, and next thing, you know, so I would literally scrub the pots before, you know. But I don't know, mbuye kasi, you know, but that kasi was so backwards because I felt like a snob. I felt like I was from the north, you know, kasi, but honestly it was just something else. So we get used to the routine, you get to know, and ibala kuthiwa vele lithanyela ilanga lingakaphumi, and you know the X and Y's and ugeza kayi-1. So the time esigeze ngalo, that's the only time, and the only other rules that they gave us, that mawithwasa if unewashini your clothes must zinekwa ilanga lingakaphumi and akumelanga sihlale until 12 noon. So by 12 noon mele kube seziqedile. So umama lapho was nice, you know, bekangibiza ngobo, you know, and she was nice. So Monday, you know, I'm trying to get used to things and everything else, and you know, the days went by, and my mom called, you know, and she called, you know, on my phone, you know, and she couldn't get through, so she connected or told her my number, and she calls me and she's asking me, how are you? You know, I was sitting there being a nice person. So as it was, so you must know that, okay, I'll try go get them, ne, because I still have my things. As it was, you must know that you always carrying things like emkolo, you know. Okay, so on the list of izinto that we're supposed to get afterwards, ne, but like was iqansi, and then kunezinye izinto that you're supposed to buy. So as it was, they teach you how ukubopha ibhayi, ne, so that liphenduke like a school bag, but uligqokile wena. Okay, let me just try and do that now. Okay, so this is ibhayi, right? So you take it, and I don't know if I still remember. Okay, let me just do it roughly. So ibhayi uligqoka kanje, ne, but on this bottom part, and then the bottom part you tie it to your side like this, right? Ne, so that ibaganje, and it must be nice and neat. And then on your back you carry your chair. We used to call this a cam chair. So this is the very kanti I had in Satwa. So this kanti Lela has been through the most. I know we don't take a lot of things that we use, but I kept some of my things because they are a reminder, some of my things. So this Mangbuye Tasen was actually the foundation to Samwam, my story is a story, guys. So this was my cam chair in Satwa. So I was using this to sit on. So you carry this everywhere you go because you're told that you don't sit on a chair. So you roll it up like this, and then you carry what we call abosiezwa, right? So what I normally do previously, being is a roller nikansi, but you carry them like this. Gosh, the admin. So ufaka la imuva kwakho. Angisho le payila kuzobe lenzi sikhwama, and then ufaka lana, ufake naloku la. And you walk around with this. So if you found not carrying these, because they can hide them back zona, and you might not get them. Melu keep him fihlo, and it was still early days for me. We're even told like, isn't this fun and snake, even like it's issue. We're not supposed to leave those things lying around because so leading up to those coming days, then I finally got my beads, and I think that was the first time I felt now, like, singing sangoma. And that's when ngafakwa idumane. So that day ngafakwa idumane, I remember looking at myself in the mirror. Actually, we were told not to look at the mirror. It was Sabatali's biggest billing. And so I was looking at myself fridge so I was looking at myself. I remember looking at myself and thinking, what is happening is red skirty, and we're not supposed to wear short red skirts, so I was looking like an Oompa Loompa. And I went outside, and if it's I caught my reflection there, and I saw myself, and I saw this it was the first time looking at myself. I felt like I was looking at someone different. I couldn't recognize myself. My hair was red, and I didn't know. So this itumane lebe silfagiwe khanda siyayala uma silfaga, and I remember him saying to me that if you should leave this place, you must know that lento izokuhlangisa because X, Y, and Z, and what else did he say? Oh yeah, so basically angazi, because is impandas funny, but what happened with us, leo brick fruit esebenzile by mix another reddish powder, so dumane. So it was just, I was just a mess. Moving from that, I was no longer that neat person because I was dripping oil. I was a drip gogo. I was dripping this breakfood. You always carrying something. My face being jani. I would always look at Umsezane and say, you know what? Why is your face like this? Why ututon ganji ganti itumane leli? Because it was mixed with this breadfruit. So I was just going about saying the rounds there. But what was hurtful was that you are told that as it was mawudla, you don't take breaks. So let's say you go to say pagiwe and it's not the time to eat, we would kneel on our knees, and you go down like this, and you put one hand behind you and you use one hand, so you eat ngesandla sakho. We were told that you must eat quickly because bathi ulambisa amadlozi. Mangisasaqala ukufika lapho, Umsezana, what she would do was that aphake everything that maybe akhe kancane, if sidli ipapa nekhabishi akhe ipapa nekhabishi abeke eceleni athi ubekela abagogo, and I would follow and do that. But masekhamba malanga, I was like, this is stupid. Sibiza amagundwane. My ancestors won't eat this much food. But you are told that as it was, you must eat quickly. So umdogo, your fingers become the spoon. You're not allowed to use a spoon. You're not allowed to use a fork. Umdogo, and you cannot sit utulindugudla. It is piping hot, and we had to eat quickly. Udlumdogo, ugucile kanje, uguce ngathi ubhobi, and while the family bahleli bayadla nje bona kamnandi, even you drink tea ugucile, so it's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. Like, imagine you kneeling and you like praying, but you have your hand here and you are eating. And you're not supposed to have conversation. You're not supposed to do anything. Nongoba kungaba rice, kuthiwa iSunday kudliwa rice. That's how you eat. Nongoba uphuza itiya nesinkwa, that is how you eat. Uma uyithwasa. And it was painful because besidla ngathi siyilwane. I'm looking back. What the hell was happening? What the hell was happening? So time went on, and I stuck out my stay big calendar actually, because ngafika actually in April, and we're moving to May, and beseqala manje sekubanda, and you could just tell ukuthi it's now, well, winter ngangithwasa ngayo, it was a winter from hell. And what I would hear is that umamala could always say that uthwasa ngewinter wena amadlozi akho ayahlanya, because if uthwasa ngesummer it is easy ukuthi abantu like bakuphonsa, ngisho umuntu yakwazi ukukuthumela ngemvula and all of these things, kube ngathi imvula kanti kunezinto izulu leli liphethe, so it was a winter from hell, honestly. So there was this one day that we overslept because besilala ngo-11 or sometimes ngo-12 to only wake up at 2. So there's no sleep. Akulalwa ekuthwaseni. That's what you need to know, that akulalwa. Because 5 p.m. siyagida sifundisa ukugida and So I remember there was this one day, I think that's when things turned around, because what happens especially is that your character is changed. You develop this thick skin, and sometimes this thick skin ayikho right because you end up hurting other people, because of this anger that lives inside you. So we overslept this one day, because what umama kaGobela would do, that if abona ukuthi silate bekalahlela amadosha alahlela izinto, but I think that day fatigue caught up with all of us, so we overslept. And I think ulahlelile walahlela amadosha esnifu, walahlela amagabete singezwa next. So mina bengilala ngasemnyango, bese kube unyankabi, bese kube ugogloreta, bese kube umsezana. So he didn't knock. It was past 3. Yeah, it was past 3. So he comes in. Umnyango wethu bokhiwa ngedrat unembobo. Indawo lebe ngihlala kuyo, it was like imbobo everywhere. Umkhukhu wethu bongaphelelanga, besihlala emgodini phambi kwamagundwane. You were living by the street. It was just hectic vibes, So he comes in, kicks the door. In his hand uphethe ibhakede eligqole amanzi, and wasithela sonke with our blankets, phezu kwezibhontshi zethu, everything else. I'm sure 2 buckets bewala phambi kwakhe, because mina ngabonela i1. Ngisathi sabhekile kwezelinye, akubandi leso sikhathi, kubanda. Ibhakede lelo mawuthi linesgenama ngaphakathi, kunelinye umuthi kuthiwa isigenama, umuthi okususa amabhadi, umuthi wenhlanhla, umuthi nje osebenza izinto eziningi. So wasiwonisha ngawo ukuthi if uyabheda, he uses that on you, but it's a very uncomfortable thing, So us telling ngaleso sigenama, sesiphapheme lapho, we are running around like cats and dogs, our blankets are dirty. Nilele nina bisono kanyoko. Manilele kanje ngicabanga ukuthi ubani mele avusele, ngilele mina ngiyeza ukuthi amathwasa awavuseli, ngihlala nabafazi noma namathwasa la ejardini. Yo, sesifikile siguqe la phambi kwakhe, asithethe, asisho.
athi inkomo yahlaba into ezelelana uzela uzolala lana uzongobani ukuthi kuyalala ephehleni mina ngithwase kanzima mina la ngithwase khona ngithwase kabuhlungu blah 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 sitshela izinto zakhe ezibhlungu after lapho sisuke lapha mngwethu sigodola sinjani sithini isiginama lapho siklina masingaqeda ukusithi saklina athi nonke phomani niyogeza masithi salanda izitsha athi nilanda izitsha zani kunebhavu lezenkulu bekela ejardini kusesemanhlatha athi ngenani la nizihuhle ene ngifuna nihuhle yonke ipart yomzimba wakho ibhavu liqolisa athi maniqeda ukuzihuhla la nigeze niclean lapha yaninekeleza ingubo leziya like ngiyabona ukuthulile ku-tense ejardini umama akhe naye umila kazi ukuthi ayenzeni senze sigeze maspeed mara kube buhlungu I think that was the first time I cried laphayana. I remember I was pretending as though ngilungise ingubo zami and ngazivala ngesponge like ngaba isponge ngasimisa upright and ngazivala ngesponge itching crying and that is when I started to realize that I am in for it. What was I thinking? Am I really ready for this? And that was the first time I asked my ancestors, I'm saying, so this is what all of this is. It was so unnecessary. Singluma iskenama, ngiluna, and ugluya khona it's so unbearable. And he comes back, amemnyango, omeyahlaba. Kunje ukuthwasa ke. Ungasingwayi, yaka lento leyo ungasingwayi. And that's when I told myself that this is it, it's now or never, and it's either this way or not, So I remember my aunt coming to see me for the first time. I think it was for second, third time. Because she was also looking out for me in terms of groceries because my mom was far away, and anything that I needed at the time. And every time she would come visit me, she'd ask how's the progress. But that week, when she came, I wanted to tell her that, is this normal? Like, what is patwaganje? Because I could just feel, because you're not supposed mawuyithwasa awumi upright ukhulume, right? Mawukhuluma uhlala phansi or uyaguqa. That's why uphatha lecansi leli. Mawuhamba egqekeni uhamba ngamadolo. That is why I had very dark patches all over my body. That is why when I out later on masengqala, my skin gave in a lot to what happened ekuthwaseni. Mawuyithwasa, you're not supposed to look at umuntu emahlweni. You're always having a head down. But it's very crazy because these days what we see, amathwasa bathola mina phone. Thina we're not supposed to. Nempama wawuyithola just for speaking umile. No ngoba umuntu akucocisa athi kuwe uyibeke phi teaspoon, you're not supposed to say ngibeke lapha uyaguqa phansi uthi ngibeke lapha bese uyaphaka. That is how we were brought up in my spiritual home. It was strict, but it was for the better. I couldn't even tell my aunt that this is what is really happening, But I remember gradually, when she came to visit me, I was told that I cannot speak English. Mele ngikhuluma isiZulu, ngithwasele njani ngikhuluma English, so mele ngikhulume isiZulu, and they need to hear what is being said. So my family came to visit me. I knew the situation at Kaya was, somewhat not good because I know the situation engashiya umama mgulo. And the first time my family came, I was so happy. They told me, I think maybe they were 30 minutes away, your parents are coming. And I was so happy. At the time, my brother imota kangisho beimoshekile, so baboleki veni, your family, I'm friend yet, and she I call her my aunt from my dad's side, and they came. When my family came, I was quickly called, batting change my speed. I remember umama she was like, the family is not supposed to see you in the state. bese ngiyihobo, everything yami beyigcwele imadumane, everything yami beyingcolile, ngihlale ngingcolile, because there is no time to be clean. You're always doing something ezokungcolisa. So bangibiza ngatshintsha ngaspidi ngagcoka izinto eziclean, and ngabuya ngabuza uMajoba ngithi why bangifaka izinto eziclean, athi no mhlambe bayenzele ukuthi ekini bangaphatheki kabi, ukuthi bakubone ukuthi unjani. Seeing my mom and my brother for the first time in a long time, it really, it made me feel so emotional. Bathi ngiyobahlangabeza egeyidini ngiyovusela, and we went there. Besengikude-ke, because every person that comes in egeyidini, as long as kunamathwase ejaridini, you must go uyovusela, whether uyathanda awuthandi, mele uyobahlangabeza ngedlozi, you don't say hi to them, and if kuzisangoma, you need to feel kuzisangoma, so my family came there, and I was so happy to see them. I could just see my family's face. I look different, because I remember there was a time my aunt's son came and she told me that, you have changed. You look so different. And I thought it changed. But it was sad. So my family was there. I couldn't even speak to them because the Gobela was there. Hi, progress. Right. I wanted to tell them that because leading up to that, my family's visitation, besinga sakwazi ukukhuluma nomama kahle, besingiye toilet, ngihlala toilet yangaphandle, and they would send someone to listen in on conversation. I was not supposed to tell my mom that I'm not okay. I was not supposed to tell my mom that angiphathiwe kahle, so I was in that stage of just it's painful. So my mom was asking me, are you okay? And I wanted to say I'm not, but I couldn't say I'm not okay because I didn't know what is this supposed to happen. Even Mangbuza, my aunt, she was like, no, Hector said it's not easy and I'm not supposed to tell you anything, a lot of things happened there. So after my family left, because Leah was our saving grace. Maskata would go and sit there. You were not supposed to be found idling around. You're supposed to be keeping busy. That's what they say. Gucci, as it was, you're supposed to be keeping busy, doing something. So days went on. The first time CH Joburg, we went to a Faraday. That was my first time there. So Sasiofuna is imiti and ezinye izinto ezidingekayo. So I remember walking at Joburg thinking to myself, what if I bump into someone that knows me? Because I know I don't look so well, you understand? But masema dropeni nani, we would walk ngisfaka igatulo ko-ke, but egcekeni we were not allowed to walk. Even if no ngoba bakuthumela ishop, because mabakuthume shop ugobele sibeka khafulela phansi, be like, you're not supposed to come back lamathi lawa awomile. And you would go to that shop, my friend, running uyothenga ubuye running ukuze ufike loku abathenga, because you don't know what to expect. So sayo Joburg, and I don't know good more. It was our I saw how people were looking at us, and we were taken to this lady's stall. I forgot her name. I just picked up some not nice vibes about her, but he was moving around us with us clothing, because everyone's supposed to see you. So he was moving around with us, and but you could tell the conversations that they were having, that they were very sneaky. Even till today, I'm not a Faraday person, but I know that woman's face. But because after that, but I know her stall, because yeah. So leading up to that, anikeza ugobelo wami something, bakhulume ebusuku, yeah, bangazi ini yabo amnikeze lento leyo, yabona blah blah blah, you understand? Samba sibuya. But on our way to the taxi rank, we walked from from Faraday to like Konama taxi. I'm not very good with Joburg, but I'm good with Pretoria. But we walked that mile. Sisindwa amasaga emithi because he told us that lana nisayogaya nkomo yahlaba yabona ukuthi la masaga lawo ngifuna nigaya yonke le mithi le. So we go there and we go home, and endleleni people are looking at us ngathi we are some form of strange creatures from planet what, but I didn't care much. So we go back, we sengijwayelile ukuthi impilo yalapha senjani ngama Sundays that was that. I-radio ngapha isonto malingekho, oh thuma mina wadliphuthu nerama. That was the life. So besengibhora vele mina besengibhora, but besengifuna ukubuya cause bengiphenduke loyo muntu loyo, like counting days. I-calendar bengiyibheka kayi-5 ngelanga just to be sure ukuthi what is the days moving, because honestly my stay was not and anything that was annoying was that every time makuzi sangoma mele sikwaze, it was tiring. It gets to a point whereby if usephehleni it gets to a point whereby so vele uyamemeza nje because honestly it was the alizi every single day. So tensions around between my gift and Gobela and everything started on my 3rd day of ukuthwasa. My dreams, ugogo wangilethela imbuzi yami, wangilethela iphupho labantwana bedlozi, wangilethela all of these things, and amalanga landelana kanje. So I would go to him first thing, ngamtshela ngathi baba ngiphuphe igazi imbuzi kanje nakanje, and he looks at me like, ngiyehluzi lakho awukake aqeda neviki sophupha intwaso wena. How? I'm like, okay, ngibuyele the following day, thokoza baba ngiphuphe X Y and Z, ngihleli endaweni kanje, ngihleli namaqhude amaqhude iyanto ezikanjalo. And he translated that dream wathi wena ngathi uzeli kuzoba ugobela wethu la awume kancane. Day 3 ngibuyele, ugogo ungibonisile izinto zami, ufuna XYZ. Athi kimi not now, kusesekude, intoso yakho uzoyidla ngoDecember. Leso sikhathi uMay sisi approacha April, because that was my 3 days ngisafika lapho. Ngicocela laba ngithi asinomuntu lo ngiyamtshela ukuthi ngiphupha sona so. Umsesane, she's like, no, stop it, ungasamtshela amaphupho wakho, and because momtshela amaphupho wakho you won't ayikuhambe la, you'll stay. So I think the mistake that happens is that impande they'll tell you ukuthi umuntu is supposed to be there for 6 or 8 months or whatever. I always get this question, Koko, how long were you at the ephehlweni? I stayed at ephehlweni for as long as Idlozi Lami wanted to, so you cannot say it was too soon or too early or too late, or it was a long time. As funny because of the gifts we carry and the people we work with. So I stayed ephehlweni for that duration that Idlozi Lami allowed me to stay there, because ngangayelanga ukuyobuilda ifamily, ngangiyela ukuyofuna lento engiyoyifuna, and like Idlozi Lami stressed ukuthi I will carry out everything. Leave this child to me. I just want you to do X, Y, and Z. Anyway, I didn't choose you, but because she's here, dude, keep it moving. So yeah, he was forbidding that. So sometimes that becomes a problem when unomntana edlozi and you don't choose to listen to idlozi lomuntu. You always want to abide by imithetho yakho, or prolonging a stay of umuntu, because one, it might be because of financial reason, and sometimes maybe because of greed. While you are there, they're getting free groceries out of you, they're getting, because every month you pay a certain fee. Remember, family, Ektasa doesn't come cheap. You need to have the funds. If you don't have the funds, if ungana, you will not move. Nothing of yours will move. But if you have the funds, you have the connection, and then now you're gonna move a person. That's what I can tell you. That's what I've seen and experienced. Well, I didn't have the funds to put it like that, but when funds allowed, it made the process easier. But because about Gobela have these things of demanding 1, 2, 3, demanding 1, 2, 3, they forget something ukuthi masihambe emakhaya sisuke sishiye izinto zingahlelanga kahle financially. So rather tell me what's going to be needed of me than every time my family comes, you are milking them of this money and saying ukuthi kufuneka into kanje, kufuneka into kanje. You know, probably I'd be at that stage and say Guti, maybe that's how we should conduct our institutions. Have everything that is required by ITWASA and then charge them the way you want to charge them. Or tell them beforehand, Guti, kuzofuneka X, Y, and Z, so you better have 50,000 lying around awaiting my request, my demand, because we are demand. They can just wake up and tell you, Guti, funeka mabai, I don't, or whatever, you know. So it is that it is an expense, a lot of expense. And one thing I want to stress to abazali, I'd honestly say uktwasa under the age of maturity, or 18 or 16, if I might say. Sometimes I feel Guti, it's painful, you know. Because the abuse we enjoy, imagine at that age, I was 22 going on 23, but I went through a lot, you know, and young damage emotionally. Imagine your teenager uzitshela ukuthi hayi akahamba yothwasa cause inyanga uzibantwana uthokozofa. Alikho idlozi elike labulala umuntu. Idlozi mabathu nobizo ngempela. Everything is gonna align itself to the day you finally go. You shouldn't have someone that's gonna say to you, hayi woza uzofa kusasa, or woza uzoguquka ngemoto, or woza. It should be an organic situation. Things should just fall into place. Uze ufike la ukhona. You know, because the problem is that you get frustrated that I am not dreaming, I'm not doing this. Why is it not happening? What if you don't have to go anywhere? What if it was like it is saving you from these vultures, you know, shadowing themselves in a Gobela's image? So it is a lot of things that go on ephehlweni, but we need to be vigilant and we need to be aware. So my journey was neither beautiful or easy. So I will catch up with you definitely on Pod 8, because wow, a lot happened. A lot happened. I could go on and on. But I remember carrying Lao Masaga Lao, Sibuyele Ndlini, thinking to myself, what has life become, you know, of me? This is me. This is who I am. Saying Nugi Kwapa, you know, Mkenke, you know, I just looked like this different person. And it was just, you know, gradually moving on. So those were just my few weeks, La Payana, but things suddenly took a turn, and the you know, the initiation process started getting out of hand. And when I say out of hand, it started getting ugly. My stay there was no longer as comfortable, and izinto just went out of control. So I'll definitely come back with a Pod 8. I just need to rest a bit. It has been a long weekend, guys, and I hope you enjoyed your weekend as well. So just need to go rest it off, prepare for work, prepare for everything else in between. But I'll definitely be back sooner than you can say go Pod 8, you know. But I just need to rest because I can feel my body is a bit, you know, but I just need to rest. But thank you so much, guys, for always coming through to view this videos of ours. But let me alert this again. Don't experience your spiritual journey through someone else, and don't experience your story through someone else. Hamba indlela yakho, iba nesibindi, qina uzitshele ukuthi, you know what, ngiyofela khona wherever it leads me. Noma ingangishonisa kuphi, I will walk there, because that will be your spiritual testimony. Esho ukuthi lobunyanga noma lento engiyiyo today, it didn't come easy. So the problem with us people, we sit here on these YouTube streets and think ukuthi we wanna follow protocol. Oh, right now saying phethe inhloko, it means say ngiyasondela. Right now ngiphupha ibhayeli blue, it means mele ngiyoyenza 1 2 3. Ganti allow idlozi lakho to facilitate your journey journey with you. If you can check from the previous video, I was not snooping around. Things were happening organically because I gave Idlozi Lami the space, although I was stubborn. Imagine I was stubborn. At the age of 16, if really. But because I was stubborn, I defied my gift. Ngasho ngathi ayikho lento lena, ngaphika ngathi this is not me. I denied who I was. But acceptance, embracement, knowing who you are, having direction, it gives you sense of acceptance. Because once you start being programmed ukuthi kunama stages to this Dlozi thing, you will never see your gift. You will never have the rite of passage. You will always be stuck in one position. So sometimes sit back. That's why I need to go back to the video of spiritual mistakes. Izinto esizenzayo ezisibambezelayo, where else because uzbanibani yena wavuka ekuthwaseni, nami I will wait to wake up there. You don't know the situations around uzbanibani, why wavuka ekuthwaseni. Walk your journey, your experience. It is your experience. So kusasa uma nawe uthi uhleli ukuhleka ubheke emuva ukhale wenze zonke izinto, so you have a story to tell. So if you're going to say no, I'm also dreaming of a white woman, I'm also dreaming of this, then it means that nami mele ngiyothwasa, oh, I'm looking for Mphosi Gobela because maybe we're having the same spiritual experience. You are going to deprive your Idlozi of its authority, and that is why we are stuck as a people. So go through your journey, experience your journey. Cut down your exposure, to what is outside of there. Learn from my experience. Uguti, this is how Umpo ended up, and good for her. I think Nami, after watching this series of videos, I will definitely. So I see that we are almost approaching the end of the year. I honestly plan to have this series done by the 31st. I will push come hell or high waters, even if I'm gonna record in the AMs, so be it. But I just want to push so that we keep the story moving. So let me go and relax. But thank you so much, good people. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming through every time you see a new video on my channel. It is because of you that our family has grown so much, and it is because of you that we continue to come back stronger. So I am Pobadimu, the advocate of Idlozi. Ugogo unkomyahlaba waliphuza waliphalaza. Iyebo. I'll definitely see you later on another video. But thank you so much. See you. Adios, amigos.